You ever just stop and stare at a giant new building, a massive bridge, and just think to yourself, how on earth did they do that? It feels almost impossible, right? That something so huge and complicated can just appear out of an empty piece of land?
You look up at all that steel and glass, and you just can't help but wonder about the sheer scale with it all.
I mean, seriously, just picture it for a second. You've got thousands of people, mountains of materials, millions and millions of dollars, all swirling around at the same time. One little miscommunication, one wrong move, and the whole thing could be a disaster. So how in the world do they pull it off?
Well, the secret is in this kind of master plan, a hidden blueprint that most of us never get to see. It's a set of rules and roles that directs this whole incredible symphony of construction. So today, we're going to pull back that curtain and see exactly how it all works.
All right, first things first, we need to understand the playing field. See, building something isn't just about hammers and nails. No way. It's a really high-stakes game, and the challenges are absolutely immense.
So what is it that makes it so difficult? Why is it always teetering on the edge of that chaos we were just talking about? Well, as it turns out, the list of things that can go wrong, it is pretty long. Something as simple as ineffective communication can turn a basic instruction into a super expensive mistake. Badly written documents can cause all sorts of confusion. And that's not even counting the conflicts between different teams, or those surprise changes to the plan that always seem to prop up, or the constant, crushing pressure of a tight deadline. Any one of those things could totally derail a project. So there has to be a system, right? And there is. It's called Construction Contract Administration, or CCA. The easiest way to think about it is as the official rulebook for the game. It's the framework that gets everyone, the contractors, the designers, the owners, coordinated so that the thing that was promised in the contract is the thing that actually gets built. It literally brings order to the chaos. Okay, so every game has its players, and in the world of construction, you've got three main roles out on the field. Let's meet the team, shall we? First up, you have the owner. This is the commander of the whole operation. They're the client, the one with the vision, the one with the money. And what's really crucial here is that they have the final say. They hold the legal power to make the big calls. Then you've got the architect or the engineer. We'll call them the AE. This is your strategist. They're the ones who take the owner's big idea and translate it into a super detailed plan, all the drawings and the specs. They also act as the owner's right hand, making sure that contract is followed to the letter. And rounding out our trio is the contractor. This is the operations chief, boots on the ground. They're the ones managing the day-to-day chaos, juggling all the different crews and suppliers, and physically turning those plans from the AE into a real, tangible thing. Now, for these three players to actually work together without stepping on each other's toes, they need a shared playbook. And that playbook is the set of contract documents that dictates every single move on the job site. And let me be clear, this isn't just a friendly suggestion. These documents are the single source of truth for the entire project. They are the legal and the technical foundation that binds everyone together and spells out exactly who is responsible for what. Now, here's where it gets really interesting because not all drawings are the same. On one hand, you have contract drawings. Think of these as the rules. They're part of the legal contract and they define what needs to be built. But then you've got shop drawings. These are totally different. The contractor creates them, and they're basically the how-to guides. They show the specific, detailed methods for how they're going to get it done. They are absolutely vital, but they aren't part of that original legal agreement. So this creates a kind of life cycle for the blueprint. It all starts with the AE's design idea. The contractor then comes back with their execution plan in those detailed shop drawings. Both sets are used to coordinate everything to make sure you don't have, a pipe trying to run through a giant steel beam. And then at the very end of it all, you have record drawings which capture the final as-built reality of the project. So, just like in any game, there's more than one way to get to the finish line. In construction, there are different ways to structure a project, and these are called delivery methods. Let's look at a couple of the most common ones. First, there's design build. This is the traditional way. The owner hires a designer, they finish the plans, and then a bunch of contractors bid on the job. It's very step-by-step. But then you have design build. This is more of an all-in-one approach. The owner signs a single contract with one company that handles everything, both the design and the construction.
It can really help streamline the whole process. And of course, there are plenty of other strategies. You might see a construction manager brought in early as an expert advisor. Or sometimes the owner themselves will take on the contractor's duties in what's called an owner build. And then you have the most collaborative model of all, integrated project delivery, where the owner, designer, and builder are basically one big team from the very first day.
And all of this brings us to what is maybe the most important piece of the puzzle. Because you can have the best plans, the tightest contracts, the perfect strategy, but none of it means a thing without the people. When you boil it all down, construction is a human endeavor. It's a team sport. And whether a project succeeds or fails really just depends on how well those three key players, the owner, the AE, and the contractor, can actually work together. The benefits of getting that teamwork right are just huge. I mean, communication gets way better, which means fewer costly mistakes and delays. When problems pop up, and they always do, they get solved faster and more creatively, and the final product, it's almost always higher quality, just better work all around.
And that's really the secret sauce. The best projects aren't about one person winning at someone else's expense. They're about creating an atmosphere where everybody is rowing in the same direction, working toward that same goal. It's about turning the whole thing into a win-win for everybody.
So, the next time you see a new building stretching up into the sky, I want you to look past the cranes in the concrete. Think about that unseen blueprint, the contracts, the different roles, and most of all, the incredible human teamwork that it takes to turn a drawing on a piece of paper into a real part of our world. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What invisible teamwork built the world all around you?